welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We are here this Saturday afternoon to recap the latest episode of Love During Lockup, which was titled Spies and Lies. So, we're going to get right on into it because I have a lot to do this weekend, this Saturday, and all that good stuff. Well, so we're just going to go over basically each couple and what happened with that couple throughout the episode versus just doing a play by play of the episode because I don't want to do that. Anywho, so we're going to start with Renika and Asante. So to begin, she is still in this wig, y'all. This is, I believe, the fourth episode, the fourth or fifth. I can't remember. Listen, I'm sick of the wig. She still has it on. And I can't understand it. And it just proves that everything she said in her interviews that she's been doing in terms of the hair was a lie. My goodness. Lord, this wig is terrible. And she's got a pretty face, wasting it. Anyhow, so we see Renika basically confront Asante in the previous episode. She calls him because y'all know he somehow has a phone with service in the prison, and she calls him and she wants to confront him and talk to him about these women on IG. Now, Renika has moved to Atlanta from Kentucky, and she's brought her kids there. She does have her kids being watched by someone else, but she has a friend in Atlanta named Ray, who I like. I like Ray because she called a spade a spade. Ray was not bullshitting with their ass. So we see that Ray found and decided to check into Asante's Instagram, and they see a bunch of different women leaving their phone numbers, blowing kisses with emojis, all sorts of stuff that, you shouldn't see on your dudes, socials anywhere. So they're talking to Asante about this, and he's pretty much just bullshitting with his response. Oh, I love you. I'm surprised that Renika really fell for this because the way that he talks to her when she's upset is just like, think about something else. Let's focus on the love. He just, it's obvious like he a player, and I'm surprised that the girl couldn't figure it out. But based on her choices and wigs, we cannot expect her to make good choices with men. I'm just saying. So Renika basically says that Asante says to Renika, if she loves him, that she would just trust his word. And he blows her a kiss, and her friend Ray loses her little marbles. And the reason Ray lost her marbles is because he blew Renika a kiss, and that's the thing that they do. I guess that has something to do with how they text as well. And Ray says he blowing you and he doing the same shit with you that he's doing with these other ones. I said, this just does not make any sense. So fast forward to a little later in the episode, Renika finds out that Asante will not be getting out of jail as planned. And she gets pissed off about this because she says that she has moved her kids across the country, spent over $3,000, gotten a rental home, done all this stuff for him. Listen, nobody told you to do that. In fact, everybody in your life who's proven to be trustworthy has told your narrow ass to do the exact opposite. So I can't understand how you now upset with him for your choices. Half the time, these women on Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup, just a part of the series in general, or men, like the person on the outs be so ready to jump into and change their whole life for this person who is telling them like, don't do it or it's your choice. So Renika, that's on you. You can't be mad at him or anybody else for you being dumb enough to wear that wig or move to Atlanta. Doesn't make any sense. So basically, we find out that he does have an opportunity to get out of jail. What he needs to do to get out of jail is apparently pay a $3,000 bond. It seems like he wants Renika to pay the bond. But before he can even get to it, she's already, mad, as we already know. So she asked a question that I thought was a very smart question, which is, how did you catch a charge, multiple charges, while locked up? And I'm like, ding dong, Renika. Listen, he has a phone. The man has an iPhone with a paid phone bill. And it has to be a good service because that motherfucking phone is working behind them big old cement and brick walls. Like, why would you? The phone in itself, when you're in jail, is contraband. Like, I don't care where you're at. You cannot legally have a cell phone as an inmate in a prison. Just saying. If you're a CO, yeah, but obviously you can't have a cell phone if you're an inmate. So Renika, she irritates me a little bit just because she be trying to play dumb, like she doesn't understand how holding somebody in jail down works. And it's like your dad was in jail much of your life. You know, your mom has stated that she dated other people in jail. Your siblings have dated people in jail. So it's obvious to us that you will understand like what goes into someone being in jail. That's not a good thing, but in this case you do. So she be acting like she don't know. Like, I don't know how Asante got that iPhone. Girl. Anywho, so basically, after she gets upset, they get off the phone. She hangs up on him and whatnot. We fast forward a little later into the episode with them, and he sends her pictures from his iPhone. He sends her pictures of his papers that are showing the charges that he's been charged with. So I made sure to rewind and pause and all the shit so I could get the correct charges. So what Asante has caught 3 different charges for is participating in criminal activities. He got 3 counts of that. And the second charge is use of telecommunications for drug transactions, which is using a phone, which is a telecommunication for those who don't know, using a phone to conduct drug transactions while in jail. And then the last charge is conspiracy to commit a felony. So I'm not surprised by these charges. I was wondering, honestly, how he had this cell phone and had not, you know, for so long to be with the phone in jail. I was like, how did he achieve that? But apparently he didn't achieve it because he's been caught. So he caught all these other charges, but he can get out on bond. Now, bond to me means you getting bailed out because I'm sure they're not just going to have you pay a fine for like breaking the law while you're in custody of the law. But you know, I don't know how shit works. I'm in California, y'all. I'm in the Bay Area. Shout out to the Bay Area. I am way in the Bay Area, so I don't know anything about the laws really on that side of the country at all because it's just where I've been. But one would assume that he probably still has to go to court. So I'm just looking at Renika. She's like, what does that even mean when it comes to the telecommunications for drug transactions? What that means, Renika, is that while you and your wig that reminds people of the vegetable green onion have been prancing around, kicking your family out of parties over this man they're telling you that you just don't know and shouldn't up and leave kids for. What this means is the same phone that you're FaceTiming him in your lingerie for, it's the same phone that he's using to conduct or traffic some type of drug, because I don't know what drugs he does or sold, or I don't really know any of that. But I encourage everybody to go and look into According to Amber's YouTube page. She has a lot of good and factual information about the cast. So maybe she has some insight. Shout out to According to Amber. Be sure to subscribe to her as well. So fast forward to the end of the episode for Renika and Asante. They were a lot this episode. You got to think, we're 10 minutes in. We still fucking talking about them. So Renika acts like she doesn't understand how these charges happen. And what she ends up doing is deciding she wants to look into the case herself because he keeps bringing up this bond. And when he's on the phone with her, he's literally catching an attitude with her about her getting mad. Like, it's obvious this man do not care about her. Fast forward, she ends up calling the judge. I did not know that you could do that. And the judge actually answered the phone. And the judge directed her in the right direction to understand who to speak to. So she calls the sheriff's department for the county, and they inform her he will be taken to another jail. He'll have to stay in jail over the weekend, but as soon as the bond is paid, he will be released. So she's like, he got to figure out that bond because I ain't got no more money. I'm like, so you moved to Atlanta and you're already out of money, but you have 2 kids and a man coming home that you intend to support? Now, remember, in the first episode, she said she made $20,000 a year with her hair vending machines. And I said, if you go and look at the jail talk recap, I said $20,000 a year is Listen, if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business, and then you also work a regular job, like a 9 to 5, or, in your field, whatever you do, retail, whatsoever, fine. 20,000 a year, be proud of it. But if this is your only source of income, Renika, it's 20,000 a year, and you say you're a rapper, but you're not well known yet. I do song reviews, y'all. Check them out. They happen every week. But you say you're a rapper. I know that to be an independent artist, you have to put a lot of money into that. My husband is an independent artist. Shout out to my spouse. We celebrate 11 years married on Tuesday. So I love you, Sugar Plum. But no, back to Renika. It just doesn't make sense. If this is what you're making in money, then I know you don't have enough to move to Atlanta. My little brother actually lived in Atlanta with his girlfriend. She was at Spelman. He was at Morehouse. I can't remember which school she was at, but they both went to college out there. They ended up moving back to California and having to stop school. It was too expensive. So I know 20,000 a year, if that's your only income, is not enough. 40,000 is not enough. You really need to make like California money or like tech industry money. I think maybe at least 70,000 a year to at least be comfortable. So she does find out he's getting out, but Asante is not happy. I think he's not happy because he got to figure out how to pay the bond. But he got that phone, and it looked like he got 5 bitches sending him phone numbers. So we will see what happens with them on the next episode. But we already know that Renika and Renika and Asante are not going to work out. And the reason we know they're not going to work out is because she went and did an interview right before the first episode aired, and we knew. She exposed it, like they're not together. She says she's single. So I'm like, what is the point? Bring back Renika's dad or something. Like, he was cool. Felt like he was trying to use his experience to actually like really mentor her. And, either way, I wish her the best. She has beautiful daughters. It seems like she has a lot of support in her family, which is wonderful. So when this thing with Asante crashes and burns, I'm sure they'll be there for her and with the I told you so's. Because she was dumb as hell to think this would work. The next couple we're going to move it on to is Letitia and Keith. So Letitia's been all over the news. We got to bring up the According to Amber page again. Shout out to her. I watched a video from According to Amber on YouTube, and it was saying that Letitia will be evicted from the house she's in. She's been evicted from a couple of her previous properties with her businesses. She's in a whole different building now for her business, and she's been seen online trying to lease out an office space within her business, an extra space. So Letitia basically doesn't have it all together. She just does not. I will be sure to include the link to that video so that those interested can watch it as well. So Letitia in this episode goes to visit Keith. And basically, they're still having the issue. He was really upset to hear that she might want a post-nuptial agreement to protect her businesses, though looking at her financial situation, maybe the post-nuptial agreement will protect him and her because it looked like she is not financially literate at all. And is not, I don't know. Anywho, so after visiting with Keith, Letitia says that a post-nup is not for them. And then she makes the dumbest statement known to most people on the planet who can breathe. She says that the reason that she is not going to get a post-nup and protect herself and her business, which makes sense from someone who's financially illiterate and gets evicted a lot. She says her reason for not getting a post-nup from this inmate is because Keith is well respected on the streets. He's well respected in the jail. And so who am I to disrespect him? This bitch is slow. You can tell she just got married for like shits and giggles. Like, not for love. Like, y'all forget, like, if people take that shit like as a joke, like for better or for worse, for rich or for poor. Like, it's not supposed to be all, oh, my husband, I'm just going to agree. You're not always going to agree with your fucking husband. You're just not. You're just not. It's not going to happen, or your wife, or whatever the hell you have. You're not always going to agree. But it's important that you voice your opinion. If you can't voice your full opinion and have that respected by your spouse, then what the hell are you doing with them? I'm just saying. Letitia just seems like a yes man when it comes to Keith. which is concerning. So we do find out a little bit more about Keith's background. We find out that he has 3 children. We also find out that he has multiple baby mamas. Now, I did not catch the name of the friend. Look at my cat in the background, his little neck. We did not catch the name of the friend. I was tired as hell watching this episode, and I did not want to reschedule the recap again. So my apologies for that. But one of her friends calls, and she says that she went out. She had a great time, but she hung out and saw one of Keith's baby mamas. She says that while out with the baby mama, she says that the Keith's baby mama was asking a shit ton of questions about Letitia, like where she worked, how they got married. And this is where we find out that Letitia and Keith got married by proxy, which we've seen on the show before. It's basically a way to get married without physically being there. Someone else is like signing and attesting for you both, but you're still legally married. Weird way to get married, but this is what they wanted to do. So this is what they did. I don't blame the baby mama. That's weird as fuck. And you got to understand this man's in jail or whatnot. So she's going to want to know. So it's okay to ask questions. Now, the friend is like, she was asking questions in a way to seem like she was trying to plot on her. She might be. It's love after lockup. Shit. Crazy shit happens on the show. But in the real world where people have sense, like, this is weird. Y'all were that desperate to get married? You did it by proxy? That's stupid to me. So we'll see more of Letitia and Keith, but Letitia is all over the internet right now. Her financial situation is everywhere. And people keep getting at her saying she looked like a man. That's not nice. That woman has children. Obviously, she's not a fucking man, y'all. Relax. Moving it along, we're going to go into the next couple of this episode, and that was Jade and Chris. Hot Mess Express. And I love it. They give me, their storyline's interesting. So Jade and Chris, for those who are unsure, have been together for 6 years and married for 5. She is a social media influencer on TikTok. She has 400K followers, so good for her. And she pretty much chronicles her life with him, sometimes in sensual outfits, showing all the stuff she gets from other men that he buys, which I think is strange. Like, as a digital creator myself, someone trying to get into content creation, I am still going to do a day job, y'all. I ain't stupid. But as someone trying to get into content creation, I can understand, the need to be constantly posting, because you do have to constantly be giving something or people lose interest. However, I think that's weird to be posting like the things your husband gets you. My husband buys me things, and often, and I appreciate you for that, my love. Shout out to Oh So Best. Go stream his music, B3ST. But I'm not going to be like showcasing it online and stuff. Like what they say, back in the day, you moving like a walking lick when you show all that stuff. Maybe that's like a hood saying. I don't know if that was a little too ghetto for y'all. I apologize. But it's like the more you show off, the more people know that you have something, and it's either giving them a reason to be mad or come after you. I stand by that. So, but she's doing this on TikTok. Obviously, it makes his family uncomfortable. I think separate from being a tribe, that's something that just in general would make people uncomfortable. Like, we never met you. You married our family member while in jail. He has this money that he's spending on you, and you're just flossing it for likes on TikTok. So I guess I get the family's perspective, but I also get Jade's perspective. That's what she does. If that's how she make her dollar, that's how she make her dollar. At least she ain't got an OnlyFans. Shit. So Jade and her sister are in the car, leaving the meeting with Chris's family. They met up with his niece and cousin, I believe. Anywho, so they wonder why, as Jade and her sister are talking, they're trying to figure out why Jade was the one who was grilled. And they speak to Chris about the family and let him know how the family was, basically the family kind of looks at Jade like she's a gold digger, and he just apologized. But I get the family's perspective and why you would think that she could be a gold digger. Just because you're literally everything he's bought for you, you share it, floss it, but then you're also showing that other dudes are giving you gifts. How they know where to send the gift, Jade? That's my thing. Like, I would never accept a gift from another man. I feel like that's disrespectful to your current spouse, but I know everybody's different. And I have had men try and gift me. No, I have gotten random cash apps. send that shit right back. I don't want that. I don't want those problems. I'm trying to tell you. But, everyone thinks differently in terms and in view of relationships. So I can't be mad at her. So basically, Jade gets home and she talks to Chris further, and she lets him know like his family's basically more uncomfortable with the social media. And he's like, I don't even know why they feel uncomfortable when everything that I've bought for you is in my name. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. So he's buying all this stuff and it's not in her name. So it's not theirs, it's his. And she's just using it while he's not around. Now, when they're married, so I do get that can happen. For instance, the cable bill is in my name, not his. Like, I get that. You can't put both names on everything. But, I mean, they are married. So I don't know. It sounds like he did that as a way to make his family feel comfortable. Like if the shit hits the fan, he can just go and take all his stuff, and she can't contest it. She can't do anything about that. They're not married, or they're married, but it's in his name. What's his is his. But I don't know how the laws work on commutative property in other states. I know in California, you can like sometimes fight that. And even though you're married, you still have your independent like property and things like that. But everywhere is different. So Jade looks at that and she's like, she never worried about not having her name on anything because he's never brought it up or thrown it in her face, but now she feels differently. So I'm interested to see what will happen with them on the next episode. But, I know some people are like this with Love After Lockup as a series, because as we get new couples in any part of the series, it's frustrating when something's become so popular versus what it was in the first season when it was called a social experiment. Like, it's so much more different. So there's not as many genuine connections and lasting couples as there were in earlier seasons. And it's like, because even though these people are stupid as hell for looking for love in the jail, you still want them to find love and you want it to work out. You know what I mean? Unless you're just like a negative person or petty. So at least that's how I feel. So the next couple that we are going to go over is going to be Andy and Brittany. So Andy is the one who was a cop for 13 years. He had a messy divorce. His wife became addicted to drugs, left him to be with a drug addict. He got custody of all 3 of his children. After getting custody of his children, took a job in trucking versus being a cop. So he would be gone for weeks at a time. And he's saying that that's the reason his kids feel as though he was not there for them. I think when it comes to parenting and kids feeling like parents weren't there for them, that the kid is the one who's correct. Like, just saying. That's the psychology major in me, though. So we see Andy prepping to meet Brittany's daughter, who is 18. Her daughter's name is Gracie. And when we see him meet with Gracie, he was really friendly, not creepy. Andy seems like a nice guy, but she looks extremely uncomfortable off the rip. You could tell she's not comfortable. She didn't know what to expect. So they go on a visit. They take this drive. It's raining. And during the visit, something happened, because on the way back, she was already uncomfortable, but she's not speaking at all. And he's trying to make conversation, and we're just watching this awkward behavior. So he says he thinks something happened because he got up and went to the restroom during the visit. And when he came back, he saw them talking, but when they saw him, they stopped immediately. So I feel like they were probably discussing him. I think that's uncomfortable for your kid to have to come visit you in jail with this man who they've never met before. And he's a former police officer, and bringing that up awkwardly. So I don't think Andy did anything wrong. That's more so on Brittany. Just makes me look at the situation a little strangely. But he talks to Brittany about this after they visit, and he basically apologizes for not being forthright on how his kids truly feel about him, and hopes they can move forward. I'm actually happy to see this. She says she puts her kids first. She says if he can't win over her kids because she's got 3 others, she'll choose her kids over him. They won't be together. I ain't mad at it. Listen, when you make a choice to go to jail, that impacts kids so much. So the very least you can do is, when you're free, do everything you can to show them that they're going to be put first. It helps their mental health, your mental health. It's beneficial for all involved. So I don't know if Andy is prepared for that. And he, instead of trying to kiss Brittany's ass, should maybe be trying to kiss the ass of his daughters who feel that he wasn't there. Because if he does that, then they're more likely to like warm up to her. And I think that's what Brittany wants to see. And I think that's important and something to always make an important thing to focus on, keeping the drama, the bullshit, the negativity like away from, you want your families to get along. And if your families can't get along, then you want them to at least not talk about each other and not be like this hateful thing. Like, you want peace. That's what you ideally want in a relationship. So I actually respect Brittany for doing that. Andy and Brittany's situation is different because I actually kind of side with the inmate, but you know, it is what it is. I think that he needs a lot of therapy because to be a cop, to have your wife leave you and impact your kids for drugs, and then you go find a previously addicted inmate to be with, that's some spooky shit. He definitely needs like some therapy and maybe a psychoval. My personal opinion. Anywho, thank you to all who are watching and liking the video, all those things. I hope you subscribe or like the video, but if you don't, I just appreciate those for tuning in. So we're going to move on to the next couple. We have a lot of Britneys this season. It seems like every season of Love After Lockup, Love During Lockup, and Life After Lockup, we get a Brittany of some sort, a friend, a cast member, whatever the fuck you want to call it. There's always a Brittany. So we see Brittany and Karak. This is our youngest couple. I say this because I feel old saying that, but like every time Brittany and Karak come on the screen, I'm just like, man, you just want to counsel them and make them some food, you know? So Brittany and Karak, we see Karak's friend AB first with them 3 dreadlocks, following Brittany. Like, this is how I know these people are young, because only a young person would make this big testament of a statement of loyalty to your friend. Listen, people are in your life for seasons and reasons, friends included. I have people I was close to, spoke to every day 10 years ago. I could still be cool with them now, but we just don't speak the same way we used to. So those close bonds are different. Listen, focus your loyalty on your spouses and your family, people. Leave it there. It's easier. So Brittany and Karak have our hot mess. So Karak doesn't trust Brittany. When we got the story of him thinking Brittany cheated on him because they were broken up and she got with someone, but Karak cheated on Brittany while they were actively together. So Karak seems very negative. Karak seems manipulative. Karak seemed like somebody I don't think should be with anybody. Seems a little controlling, and that's not healthy. So Karak has his friend AB following Brittany around, saying he don't trust what she say. If she cheats, she'll cheat again. And here's my problem with that. Who the fuck are you, KB? You and your 3 dreadlocks looking like the unicorn that was with the dreadlock. I can't understand why you so in these people's business. My friends come to me and talk to me about their relationships. I'm here for them to vent. That shit ain't going nowhere else. I'm not following people for you. I'm not stalking people for you. Don't use my number to call. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's childish. If you have to have your girl followed, or if you have to have your spouse followed, then you shouldn't be with them. Hate to break it to you. You should not fucking be with the person you have to follow. That's not normal. And why was he in the car? Are y'all too broke to afford an AirTag? Pop that thing on something and have her followed that way. Why the fuck do you need to actually see what she's doing? That's such a violation of her privacy. Such a violation. So I'm not with that at all. That in psychology is a sign of abusive behavior to come in the future. I don't care if you transition it or not. Abuse is abuse. That's not okay. So she goes to school. This is all he sees when following her. It seems she's just going to school and, you know, with friends here and there out. And so we see her go to school. She comes late. The teacher comes down on her real hard. So it looks like she's been late a lot in recent times. We could see an episode, and the next episode could be like a month later or something. You know, the timelines on things are crazy with editing. So she's been coming to school late. The teacher's fed up. The teacher's telling her, and the teacher's like, listen, I got another student who just got out of jail too, in a worse situation. They get here on time. When you want something, you make it happen. I think that's what the teacher is trying to teach her. Stop making excuses. What you gonna do when you're working? Your client, you could have the excuse of the planet on the planet, but your client won't come back to you if you keep canceling on them. They just won't. So Brittany's young though. There's just a lot in life she and others have to learn, especially Karat. So my thing is we see EB throughout the episode with Brittany following her ass in his car with them damn 3 dreadlocks. Hella obvious. Hella obvious. He looks like one of those Invader Zim characters. Or like, I don't know if this is too old for everybody, but like Cat Dog from Nickelodeon. Like he just looks like a Ren and Stimpy. He looks like a character. Them 3 dreadlocks is something else. But my thing is, Brittany, how do you not know you're followed by this person? It's like the most obvious person, literally standing out the car where you can see, like, are you that focused on doing the hair of that damn head doll? Like, how do you not know you're being followed? So EB then pops up at her job while she's working. She's like, I don't like pop-ups. And Brittany, I agree. You shouldn't like pop-ups. That ain't your nigga. Why the fuck are you popping up at my job? That'd be like if I go pop up on my friend's dude while he's working or doing something. It's like, why are you here? What are we going to do? Like, I'll hang out with my friends' spouses when my friends are around, but we're not texting and having personal conversations together. Like, single or not, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. So EB's at the job questioning Brittany as if he is dating her and as if she's committed a felony and he's a detective with the department. I cannot understand why Karat questioned or why EB questioned Brittany like that. And he says, oh, me and Karat grew up together. This is just what you do. No, it's not. You guys are 23 and stupid. This is not what you do. This is not normal. So Brittany basically explains that she's not doing nothing and she has no issue getting to know EB. I don't trust it. I don't trust any of it. I think Karat's mad abusive. I think he's mad manipulative. And I think that girl needs to run. I don't think their relationship is going to last. And even if they were free and not jailbirds, I don't think it's going to last just because of their age. And even though they're 24, 25, 26, I believe, you could tell that jail impacted her because she still got the mind of like an 18, 19-year-old. And I don't know what the fuck Karat's issue is, but may he receive therapy. So that's all we saw for those two. We're going to move it on to the last couple and the fucking looniest couple, in my opinion. Jake and Savannah. So Savannah, to me, she's weird. Her first episode, she's like, yeah, I like to sleep around. You know, I'm promiscuous. I've never been faithful to any guy I've been with. So we have to remember this about her. She's really obsessive over this Jake guy. We see the binders she has of all their letters. Like, I get keeping stuff that's important, but my friend just held her dude down for like a whole year, bro. She doesn't have creepy momentums and cutouts of her boyfriend to like look at or in her room. There's pictures, memories, but she didn't have like a cutout of her boo. Like, no, that's weird. That's weird as fuck to me to have a full cutout of your dude. Like, I think I'm obsessive with my man, but child, no. Though a cutout of Mr. Best would not be a bad thing. Anywho, so she's going to meet with Jake's friend, Tim, who is a friend that he knew before he went to jail. And he went to jail when he was really, really young. I believe it's 17, 19, some shit like that. So apparently he was awful when he was out. He was an awful person. And she's meeting with Tim because Jake doesn't want her to push his family. And she's suspicious about what's really going on with his case. As a lawyer's told her, they could be leaving things out. The family won't tell her things. Now, when she meets with Tim, she starts asking all these questions about the crime and how she knew Jake and what he was like. And you could tell this girl has no type of street smarts. You don't go up to nobody who with the shit, been to jail, and be like, what'd you do? How'd you get there? How'd this happen? You don't do that. That's not how you talk to them. They're going to look at you like, are you a op? You a snitch? Why do you need to know so much about my shit? Just be happy to see me. Like, that was weird to me. So I knew when she started asking questions like that, it was going to go wrong. The friend says he wants to be excused. He said this is a lot and he wants to go to the restroom and then smoke a cigarette, which he does. prior to that, when they first start talking, he says, yeah, I haven't seen him or heard from him in years. So he's like, I haven't heard from Jake in years. Now this woman who's dating him is hitting me up because she wants to know about his case. And I guess the friend must have been a part of it. She was like, was he the main guy? Was Jake the fall guy? Why would he answer that on camera? This man could still be around the people who have to do with that case. You do not want to be seen or known as a snitch in any capacity in nobody's hood. You just don't. So the friend dips. I knew he was going to do it. I was watching it with my husband. As soon as that man got up, I said he's going to leave. As soon as he got up, I knew he was not coming back. I knew he wasn't coming back when she started asking those questions, and his body language, dude, was mad uncomfortable. So she wonders why and cries nobody will speak about this case. As soon as the friend says he doesn't want to talk about the case, he told producers that. So this was like a legit thing. They tried to get him to stay. Nobody wants to talk about Jake. I'm wondering what he did or what he has done or caught while in jail. I'm curious. There's a reason. He's eligible for parole, and the parole board said that they want him out, but they don't have the power to let him out. I'm confused on what's going on. If Jake can parole, Savannah needs to let him, but she's a little like crazy and obsessive over marriage and him as a whole. Something about her is off. So I really don't think that many of these couples from Love During Lockup that we'll see on Love After Lockup. I just don't. And in the last Love During Lockup, we got Justine and Mike, who are super cool. They're together and stuff, but they're just too boring to watch. So I'm curious to see what we get next. But that was the Mrs. Best Reviews recap of Love During Lockup, Spies, and Lies live recap. I appreciate everybody for watching the previous videos and for subscribing. It does mean a lot to the channel. I will never ask you for money. I just appreciate everybody for watching, subscribing, liking the video, all of those good things. If you ever want to do a recap with me and you are a creator, feel free to email me or you can DM me on IG. All of that information is in the description on my page, as well as a description of other videos. We will be back next Saturday to do another live recap of the next episode of Love During Lockup. We will also be back on Monday to do a live song review. And then on Wednesday, we have our Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reviews with Watch Your Mouth reviews, as well as I will be a guest on the Watch Your Mouth reviews channel for the Real Housewives of Atlanta recap. So I appreciate everybody for watching and hope you have thy best Saturday.